Alexis Joy from Alexis Joy VIP Access. I am so excited to be chatting with you today. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. But first off, thank you so much for all of your time and congrats on all the amazing success with your career.
Thanks, Alexis. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's been a wild year, turbulent year, but starting off the new year, I'm pretty stoked on everything that I have coming up. So happy to chat.
Awesome. Now, we loved getting to watch you in Below Deck Sailing Yacht and, of course, in season 3 of Winter House. But before we get into your time on those fan favorite shows, I want to ask you how you got your start in sailing and being a captain, and maybe how being on Below Deck Sailing Yacht has helped expand your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got into yachting um kind of accidentally, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of people kind of have that same, background. But I was in Los Angeles. I was living in LA for I think 2018 through 21. So basically through the pandemic. And my background is in like sales and real estate and things like that. And I was doing that type of work out there. And then the pandemic hit, and in Los Angeles, as you might know, um, it was a tough place to be. There was, really couldn't even go outside. You didn't have many options for what to fill your days with. And my career prior to the pandemic had fallen by the wayside just because we couldn't physically do that. And the only thing that was open was Marina Del Rey. So I went down there kind of looking for work, and met this amazing couple that was willing to teach me everything I needed to know on a yacht. And I took a 90% pay cut, but found yachting work and decided that that's kind of what I wanted to pursue longer term.
That's amazing. And the rest is history. Now we see you thriving on our favorite shows. So I want to ask you, what was it like for you working on Below Deck Sailing Yacht?
It was really well, it was unexpected, to be honest with you. So fast forward, while I was working in the marina, I, got enough hours to get my captain's license through the Coast Guard. So then I moved down to South Florida, to pursue, I guess, more consistent work. In LA, it's a bit seasonal. And while I was there, they messaged me and they were just like, "Hey, you have the credentials to do this. We think you'd be really great for it." I went through a couple interviews and they were like, "We really want you to do this." Um, and at the time, I actually said no. I said no. I said no a few times, just because I had a girlfriend at the time. Life just didn't really. I was trying to let the dust settle from moving across the country and whatnot. But after a little bit more, back and forth with them, eventually I agreed, and I'm so glad I did because it was an amazing experience. I met, people that I'll probably be friends with the rest of my life, like Mr. Chase Lee Max comes to mind, and Daisy and Colin and Lucy and Leash and Mads. They're all just great people. And our crew as a whole was just like meshed really well together. And then we're also filming in Sardinia, which is like the most amazing, like beautiful place to sail in the world. So there was times when I was like, when we weren't partying, but there was times when I was like just standing on deck and I'd just be like, wow, how the heck did I end up here? And I hadn't even been in the industry for as long as a lot of these people. And I was just like, so grateful to be where I was. So all in all, it was like, it really was just an incredible experience for me.
I could imagine. That sounds so wonderful. I mean, I'm half Italian, so Sardinia is like one of my dream places to visit. So I'm sure it's such a surreal experience for you. And we are so glad, of course, that you did say yes, because the show would not be the same without you. So we love getting to see you in Below Deck Sailing Yacht. Now, being a part of the show, obviously, we saw that you had a lot of fun, but at the same time, it also was a lot of work too. So, what is something that you learned from your experience on the show?
Yeah, we're working very hard on the show. So I think a lot of people kind of forget about that, or they kind of think that, that we have somebody else. That I've been told, like, that by people, they think we have like a magic crew that comes in like when we're not on camera and does the actual work. But no, there's a lot of work that happens on camera and off camera. So we're actually doing the work. And for me, that was like one of the largest vessels I had worked on, because a lot of the work I was doing was on day charters. So I had nothing, like I came in and I didn't really know, my left from my right. And if it wasn't for Chase being there because Gary was sick, we might not have ever even left the dock in the first charter we did it. So I really was like open to learning from anybody and everybody. And I'm so glad I came into it with like an open mind because I walked away with just like a totally different appreciation for the entire process, industry, everything.
That's amazing. And it's so great that you're able to do what you love and have a lot of fun doing it, as what we saw, but also still learn and continue to expand your expertise, which is such a wonderful thing. Now, you then traded your flip flops for snow boots and joined season 3 of the Winter House cast. Do you have a favorite memory from being on the show?
There was so much that happened in a short amount of time there. So I mean, it was all pretty much a good memory or lack thereof. But I would say like the best parts were just like in the evenings when we would all, and I think everybody would agree, when we would just have these like dance parties in the kitchen. Like all the camera crew and everybody would leave, and then they would just leave us to our own, which is dangerous. Um, but yeah, we would literally just like play music and dance around the kitchen for hours and get inebriated. But it was a lot of fun. And then like we'd have all this footage on our phones of like the night before that nobody would really remember, and it was golden. So there's a lot on that show that you guys don't see as well. I'd say even more so because they have to edit it to a tight 9 episode schedule. But yeah, I mean, there's so much that happened that I probably can't even talk about.
Well, that's great. We were able to see so much fun in that show as well. And it's interesting to know that a lot of the best and most magical moments from the show happened off screen. So it's great to see all of the friendships that were made. Now, in one of the episodes of Winter House called X's and O's, we see the group create drinks that represent their exes. Now, if you could create a drink that represents your time on Winter House, what would be in it?
What an intuitive question. Um, I think it would have to have tequila in it for
Oh,
sure
yeah.
because we went through that by like the gallon in that house. And then we also had I but not just any tequila. It was this, and I'm not gonna shade the company, specific company, but there was a really like bad tequila that's owned by like a very famous person. And I like we had cases of it, and all my castmates would know what I'm talking about. But that would probably be like my drink. It would just be a warm cup of this tequila that everybody had to choke down, because that's like a flavor that just I remember from the show.
I love it. And nothing like some good old tequila. I'm sorry to hear that you didn't have the best one when you were all together, but nothing like a good tequila drink for sure.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, we found a grocery store that had a little bit, more options. But at the time, we just had like bottles and bottles of this tequila. I don't know if they were like mailed to us or something. Um, but we had to get through it. I mean, we're not gonna we're not gonna waste it, and nobody in that house is that has any desire to waste alcohol. So we got through it, but definitely paid the price.
Oh, no. Well, Alex, we're going to do a quick speed round. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready, rock and
Awesome.
roll.
Now, what would you like to name a boat of your own?
Ooh, that's another good question. I'm trying to think of something that makes sense right now. Maybe like surviving Nelly,
Great.
which is a very personal meaning, but
Aw.
surviving.
Awesome. Now, for the next question, would you rather stay a month on a boat in Sardinia, Italy, or in a winter house in Steamboat Springs, Colorado?
I don't think that one I even need. My reaction should tell you. I would much rather be on a boat in Sardinia, Italy. I don't like cold weather. Originally, I'm from Wisconsin, so I just grew up in like the worst winters ever. And now that I've lived in Los Angeles and now in South Florida, I just can't really, I'm not excited about being cold ever. So I would always pick a boat vacation or a beach vacation.
I 100% agree with you. I used to live in New York, so like our winters were pretty bad too. And then I moved out
Yeah.
to Los Angeles, and now like even 60 degrees is cold for me, and I'm like putting on my winter jackets and everything. So
Seriously, your skin gets thin. Yeah, I can't do it anymore. As much fun as I had in Steamboat and would love to have again. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't like if I have a choice, I'll always go warm.
yes, agree. Now, last one for the speed round. I know that you do a lot of traveling as well. So if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be, and what would you like to cross off your bucket list there?
Yeah, I've been a lot of the places that I would um love to be, truthfully. So I try to go back to Thailand frequently. I stayed there for an extended period of time several years ago, and I just have so many friends and family and stuff there. So I try to go back relatively often. So that's always one that's like I'm either like just coming back from or planning to go to. So that one comes to mind. But then also, I haven't explored much the continent of Africa apart from South Africa, which is amazing. So if the rest of, that continent is amazing as its southernmost country, I think that would be something I'd be pretty excited to see.
That's amazing. Now we're excited to continue to stay tuned with all of your social media posts and see more of your travels. But we know that a lot is coming up for you. So, what are some other upcoming projects that you're working on that fans can stay tuned for?
Yeah, I can't reveal too much, but there's a lot happening outside of TV. Um, I used to work as a fitness trainer, and it's such like a staple in my life and something that I truthfully, invest in a lot more than much else. So I have some programs and some things that I'm going to be coming out with on social media. There also could be an Alex hair related product or something coming out in the near future. There's also a couple creative projects and charitable endeavors that are all going to happen this year. So it's going to be a fun year just to be following along with some of that. If you guys are already, I appreciate it so much. It kind of blows my mind the amount of, love and engagement and stuff I get from that little community I have online. And I also want to see it grow. So, I'm always trying new things as well. But it's going to be just a busy year of me doing things that make me happy.
I love that. And you got me,
Yeah.
and I know everyone watching extra excited for all of your wonderful projects. I mean, you have a lot in the pipeline, so it's super exciting. And again, I know that fitness is a big part of your life, and it's always so great seeing how you share your impact with the world through your fitness journey. So, what is like a fitness motto that you live by that you want to share with viewers?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of go by the KISS method, which is keep it simple, stupid. It really is. It's like anything that you know is worth doing somebody has tried to overcomplicate for the sake of making money on. And I guess the biggest piece of advice I give people is just move and just eat well. I think we get stuck in these patterns where they're, I'm sore or I'm injured or I'm hurt or it's painful to move, and then the lack of movement keeps us in that cycle of pain because just moving would change everything. So I think that wellness and fitness is really mental. And in the beginning of the new year, when that's probably on the forefront of a lot of people's minds, the biggest thing is just to move. And it doesn't have to be exercise, but once we stop moving, that kind of life ceases to exist. So get outside, move, eat well, drink coffee, and overall wellness, mental, physical, all of that kind of follows the movement. So I would say just move, keep it simple.
I love that. Yes, that's some great advice, especially as we kick off the new year from the fitness king himself. So, everyone should follow you on Instagram and social media and keep up with your projects there. Now, lastly, Alex, if you could bring out a message to all of your fans, what message would that be?
I think that two things. I think that the theme for me this year is love, because everything that happens in my world and in our world right now happens because of love or a lack of love. So I think that patience and grace with each other, and leading with love and leading well intentioned is very important. So I hope that my followers see that from me in everything that I'm trying to do. And also, you got to love yourself too. And I'm very guilty of being extremely critical of myself and looking back on the TV shows and the mistakes that I've made and the things that I've done wrong. And truthfully, it's like we're all just having this human experience, and I'm a very flawed person, that his flaws are just kind of aired out to the world. So I would say consider that as well. If anybody out there is struggling like that, like I do, and just being kind to yourself, that requires love too. And the love that you give to everyone else should also come back tenfold to you. So, love.
That is so, so beautiful. Self love is so important and it impacts everyone around us and our day to day activities. But, Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I, again, am so thrilled for all of your projects that you have in store. And I know everyone will be staying tuned with all that you're working on. But thank you so much again.
Absolutely, Alexis. Thanks for having me and hosting the space to chat. I love to chat.
Yes, thank you so much. And congratulations again on everything, Alex.